Christinablackfeather here, and you can't see, but I'm donning my ears. Kind of directing this video at Amberlynn, and my phone's under the cupboard's holding it up. Just a little easy cooking class. Kind of doing, I said I was going to do my play on her sausage fest, and that's what we're doing. So what I have in the cast iron pan here, I pre-cooked up a can of Spam, and so 3/4 of the can is in here. That'll be saved for later meals. So some of this stuff, Amber, you can prep ahead of time and use it for multiple meals instead of having like 4 sausages in one sitting, having an entire pack. You could even do a half a sausage and cook that up. You know, divide up your stuff. You'll still get all the flavor of that sausage in what you're eating without having all the calories, all the sodium, everything else in there. So I did cheat a little because there was some butter in this pan because we just got back from the farmer's market. One of the vendors let me try a morel mushroom for the first time ever in my almost 52 years here in Minnesota. I had never had a morel. It actually was pretty good. So I just used the same pan. I don't know how old this cast iron skillet is. I've had it for years, but I got it at a garage sale. So other things I got here, I cut up a tomato. You can add whatever you want, Amber. Just have a little bit of meat and go more on the veggies and you'll be just fine. So I've got cut up mushroom here. I have some cut up chives and some green onion cut up, leftover zucchini that I had cut up, and some red bell peppers. I know you like peppers. I'm also got to use up this can of the water chestnuts, so I'll be throwing those in. You notice it's just a matter of throwing whatever you feel like in. Sometimes I'll toss broccoli and carrots in here. Green beans, just didn't have any today and I didn't buy any. You can kind of make up your own seasonings too. Yeah, I know you like certain seasonings that you enjoy having. I'm going to play around a little bit. We've got some raw honey and some smoked paprika. I don't cook with extra sodium because of my blood pressure, and so I always go with smoked paprika. Gives a really, really wonderful flavor to food without being super spicy. And to add a little spice, I got your favorite, Amber. Got the sriracha, minced onion, which can taste a little bit like salt, which also will cut back on that sodium thing for you. Now the Spam, of course, or sausages, as you've been doing, have sodium in them. You don't want to add more salt. And I got minced garlic. And that's all I'm going to go with today. I was going to use fish sauce, but I already have salt in the pan from the leftover butter that was in here, and because that flavor is still in the pan. And of course I scraped the pan from the Spam too, and so there's all those little bits in there that'll make it almost taste like you've added bacon to this, which you could do crumbled up bacon instead of Spam or instead of sausages. Yay. So what we're gonna do is just go on a medium heat. If I hadn't done this ahead of time, oh come on, you're not gonna ignite now? Really? Maybe if I turned on the right burner? Yeah, prepared. Anyway, there is oil, you know, it's already, the pan is pretty wet from the oils that came from the Spam, so I don't have to add any. Otherwise, usually if I pan fry anything, I've been going with avocado oil. Unless it's something that I want a really traditional flavor with, I will use butter, salted butter, or I use coconut oil depending on the type of dish that I'm working with. But we're not going to worry about that right now. Mushrooms will cook up pretty fast and suck up other flavors. So what we're going to do is we're going to just start adding the onion and the chives in here, just to start layering some of these flavors in. You don't want to add the herbs first because it's very quickly to burn the herbs, and then you've got a blackened, charred mess. Been there, done that. Probably not the best thing to use metal on my cast iron, but the only thing is that I do use, sometimes if it gets too caked, I use a steel wool and clean it and then re-season the pan. I'm also going to be taking steel rings at some point, and I want to make pot scrubbers. So I'm just going to start with layering those flavors in. And I still have some in the plate. This entire plate's going to end up in there. Turn it up to high a little bit. And the other thing I want to layer the flavors in, these are already drained. So I'm just going to toss them. There's a teeny little bit of water left in here, which is just fine. It's going to add a little bit of moisture in there. Those also give me a little extra crunch. Water chestnuts are not always my favorite thing, but the can was sitting there, so I got to use them. So there's a little bit of extra salt in these too. Oh no, there isn't. No sodium. Fantastic. Some brands will have sodium, so you gotta watch it. So yeah, Amber, I thought just giving you a little cooking class here would kind of help. I'm really surprised that you don't discuss recipes with Chantal, because you know, we know the gal can cook. So it's just a little bit on the odd side to me that you don't talk to her about what kind of things you can do. If you prep a lot of things ahead of time and just store them away in your fridge, throwing a food together will be like 5 minutes. And you know, this is called, you were talking about meal prepping before. There's elements of meal prepping. I could stop right here with what's in this pan, put that in a container, and save it for later stuff too if I wanted. But I am going to cook this food up and then have a finished meal in the container so I can take it to work tonight. I think I got enough in here. I don't want to add the honey just yet because we're going to need the moisture from the tomatoes so the honey doesn't stick to the pan too much. You can tell I love smoked paprika. Sorry, these cat ears are a little ridiculous. I'm sorry, it's not something I'm used to wearing and they're sliding out of my hair. Once I add something with a little more moisture, then I will add the minced garlic. So we're going to go with the zucchini in here and the peppers at this point. Another thing I'll do too is if I want the veggies a lot softer or more thoroughly cooked, sometimes I will add a vegetable broth or a chicken broth in here. Only like 1/4 of an inch in the pan, so not very much. And I end up turning it into a sauce at that point, but we're not going to go that route today. I might pop the lid on and steam these though, once I get the flavors incorporated. Alright. Let's add a bit of honey there, probably a little too much. We have a company named T-Rex Cookies that was back at the farmer's market today. Their cookies are as big as these plates. And I refrained from being a bad girl and getting one today. Because really with my blood sugars I shouldn't be doing that. So I'm going to get my sweet this way a little bit. Here's the minced garlic. I like a bit of it. Just layering the flavors. You don't dump it in all at once. I do this with soups. I do this with chilies. Might be a little hot. Going just below medium. This thing about cast iron is they hold heat for a long time. Yeah, I might have to steam this. I don't think the zucchini is going to cook all the way through. Let's toss the tomato in there. So everything but the Spam and the water chestnuts pretty much is farmer's market today. The reason why I add the mushrooms last is because they will suck up all the moisture. I should have been a bit more prepped. I didn't think I was going to need the lid, but it's not the right lid for the pan. I don't care. We'll just steam it a moment. I'm going to add the sriracha last because I don't want to drown out the other flavors. Sometimes if I'm really lazy, I will just go and add a little bit of something for kick, and then I'll toss in like Catalina or French dressing because they're spicy in that and sweet. Other times I'll do just a part of a jar of spaghetti sauce and then add some salsa, or I'll just do salsa. And other times, depending on what meat I have in here, I'll put some barbecue sauce or something like that, and not too much because you don't want to drown out all those other flavors you got going on. Let's see how much this steams up here. Give it a good stir. Oh, that's coming along nicely. And you notice when you don't go with canned. Now, there's no problem with cooking with canned. I've done it, but when you do canned beans and things like that, you want to rinse them out with water before you start cooking with them, because the beans will get really nasty, which I saw in your video. They looked like they were peeling. They looked like they were gelatinized. It wasn't a peeling. I'm sure it tasted the same, but it visually it was pretty bad. The other reason why you want to, especially if you're anybody who is prone to diabetes or could possibly have renal issues in the future, or if you are on dialysis, you want to rinse out that extra sodium from the beans. And the reason why is because they will make you retain fluid. The extra sodium does do that. It'll also make you more thirsty, and which is a problem if you ever are somebody that's on dialysis, because you have to control your fluid intake. So you don't want to have so much salt that all you're going to do is just chug and chug and chug and chug. Of course, that extra chugging also can be a sign of developing diabetes if you're constantly thirsty, or you wake up thinking that you're in the desert. So at your weight, I do recommend that you go to the doctor and you get things checked out. At least have your A1C done every 6 months, because that'll tell the doctor how you've been doing over a 3-month period of time with your food intake, with your sugar intakes. And you do need to go in and please, please, please have, have a physical, have the doctor help you out. Because again, you've proven you're not doing this yourself. And you may be trying, but you're not succeeding. Although part of the success in your future will be learning how to cook. So there, I added the mushrooms in. There's plenty of moisture in the pan now from the tomatoes. And the zucchini's been steaming up really nice. I'll put the lid on again. If I wanted the veggies more crisp, then I wouldn't steam it as long. But because after my last round of trying to go vegan and being on the estrogen and stuff, I still have some sensitivity with my mouth and with my teeth, and so eating crispier vegetables and raw vegetables, even salads now, is getting very uncomfortable, so going with a little softer. Just gonna let the mushrooms kind of soak up some moisture there. Those were fresh too. If you use canned, again, rinse them. Although sometimes I don't, it depends on what type of sauce, again, what I'm making. If I do a no sodium chicken broth in here, then I'll add the juice from the mushrooms as well, just to get a little salt in there. But this is extremely flexible, and you can cut the vegetables ahead of time and store them in the containers. Cut zucchini lasts a good week and a half or better. The mushrooms will be only a couple days, and you can just break them up. You don't have to cut them. The bell pepper will last a while. I mean, all of this stuff. Spend a day where you're sitting there. I know you've been sitting. You should be standing. You burn calories while you're standing. Not a lot, but it's more than sitting down. And you don't want to be sitting down and cooking if you can help it, and deal with a hot pan and burn yourself. That's no end of trouble there. But just, cut things up ahead of time. You got those storage containers from Walmart. You see, I got them too. That's your meal prep, and it's so easy to throw things together. You take one day where you're just prepping your stuff for the week, and you can toss things together in the pan. You can toss things together in the microwave if you're reheating a meal. I mean, there's so many ways to do this. And you're saying that you hate cooking. If you do some of your prep ahead of time, cooking throughout the week is not going to be such a task for you. But you're also going to find that the more you learn about cooking, the more freedom you have. You're controlling what you put in your mouth. You're controlling what ingredients are in the things that you're using, because you know what you put in this dish. And it's also a bit easier to maintain your calories, especially if you increase your amount of vegetables. Now, I could have a high protein pasta this morning. I didn't feel like it because this is plenty of food right here. So there we go. I'm going to give this a taste really quick. See if I have to add anything. Hot zucchini, woohoo! Oh, it's a little hot yet. That one needs to go down in there. All right. Boy, that's hot. The steam, she rises. Yep, that's hot. Sometimes I'll do like some boiled potatoes with this if I want to starch. All right. We'll get on the regular spices. It's time. And just a little bit of heat. There we go. You don't even need a lot. Shut off the heat. That's it. Nice and easy. Wasn't that complicated at all. Don't look at cooking like it's a chore. Doing dishes is a chore. But even that's not bad for you. You know, sometimes just sitting there hand washing dishes can be pretty meditative. And, you know, if you just got music on or a video on your phone and just sit there and hand scrub them. I have a dishwasher, so it's not a big deal. Well, you see, this is a big plate of food right here. But there's not the calorie content and the sodium content that you've had in yours. So we'll just zoom in. It ain't gonna let me? Fine, be that way. So yeah, there it is, steaming hot. There's a meal ready for you. So that's it. Hopefully you guys kind of had fun with this. A little poking of humor, but I'm not trying to throw any shade, Amber, or anything like that. It is actual teaching, and you know, just give yourself a chance and try to learn new things and go to the doctor and get help at the same time. You'll feel so much happier when you gain your life back and you can do more of those trips outside. All right, talk to you later. Blessed be, everybody.